Hey everybody, look Ma, no hands! So finally not holding the camera by hand anymore in case you did not see the non-spoiler video. Hopefully you guys appreciate that and aren't gonna get seasick and maybe you can tolerate watching these a little bit longer. But without further ado, we just got out of X-Men Apocalypse. It was fucking great. Yeah. It really was really great. It might be my favorite of the three. If you saw my other videos, I'm kind of like, this one's not exciting me, but by the time I got here, I was a little excited. I'd been hearing some good things, and it did not disappoint. Just in case you're here by mistake, this is the spoiler video. There are spoilers galore in this video. We're gonna talk all the spoilers, completely unrestricted. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. You don't want spoilers, you can click in the links or click around here somewhere and you can see the non-spoiler review and then come back for the spoilers after you've seen it so you can geek out with us about how cool this movie actually turned out to be. So with that said, yeah, I teared up through a bunch of stuff, but I didn't cry until the very end, and it was a tears of joy that streamed down my face because we had the X-Men in full X-Men costumes in the fucking danger room with Sentinels coming out for them to train against. And I'm just like, oh my god, my 90s geekgasm just exploded all over this theater. And yeah, it was fucking cool as shit, dude. And what's your favorite scene while I recover? Or favorites?
It's gonna be the Quicksilver scene again.
I really liked the Quicksilver scene. I gotta give it some time. I don't know if it's as good as the other one. It was funny, and there's a lot of really cool shit that he saved everybody in there. And honestly, I think it might have been a little spoiled for me. I didn't realize it had been until I was watching the scene. I saw some video, I didn't actually see the video, but the title was Quicksilver Saves Everyone. And I was like, so as that scene started, I'm like, oh, he saves everyone. Well,
no,
actually,
not
technically,
everyone.
That's true. So I guess I wasn't spoiled. Alex Summers, Scott Summers' brother. So yeah, I guess he perished as far as we know. But that's cool that, you know, Scott Summers, that was cool, actually. Cyclops, I really like what they did with him. Yeah. I think it may be the best version of Cyclops I've seen. For me, I think so.
I don't really remember the other one.
That's the thing, right? So it kind of is. And we mentioned in the other video, but Sophie Turner, fantastic Jean Grey, fantastic.
Yeah. Did not spend the movie going like, look, it's Sansa. Right.
No, you really don't. You buy her as Jean Grey. I'm ready to see her as more of Jean Grey. And they kind of started touching on the Dark Phoenix stuff, and it was beautiful. Kinda? Well, I mean, they didn't do the whole her going evil and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's not like the full arc of the story, but they showed the power she had within her. Jean Grey and Scott, seeing their budding romance, I thought was actually really, really cute. Yeah. The way they bumped into each other at the school right off and all that stuff. So that was really nice. Magneto was awesome. Felt so bad when his kid and his wife get killed again. I mean, you know, how many people is he going to lose? And it's cool, though, that Quicksilver didn't actually reveal.
Yeah, it's kind of karma.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is, but it's also kind of his tragic destiny.
Yeah.
But I like that Quicksilver did not reveal that he is the son of Magneto. He thought about it, he came close, but I thought it was kind of cool. He's holding that card to play for a later date. The Charles going bald thing, actually, I think that really worked. I liked that. Yeah. I liked how they pulled that off. I thought that was very cool.
He pulls it off pretty well, actually.
Yeah, actually he does. And I love that whole idea of teaching him about all the metals and stuff in the earth, and he's like literally ripping the earth apart from its core. And in the trailers, that effect stuff, it looks kind of like, oh, we've seen this kind of before, but in the context of the movie, we really haven't. It was really epic, I thought.
Yeah.
I think the trailers did a really good job of actually not really showing you much. I think maybe that was my reluctance with this movie, is I've gotten so used to the Marvel kind of trailers and the DC as the worst offender of showing you almost everything. And then, you know, so then when I see these X-Men trailers, I'm like, it kind of looks okay. And then I see the movie, I'm like, holy shit, there was a lot of great stuff in there I had not seen. Oh, the opening Egyptian stuff. So all that was pretty cool. You were going to educate me. Oh, well, let me tell you my problem.
What's your problem?
Right,
first?
My problem was everything was beautiful. It was first it was a little weird because the music got really heavy and epic while it was still just people walking. I thought that was a little awkward, but then it got really cool because there was this badass action scene. Apparently there was this revolt, and like, you know, the guards like did this thing where they were bringing down the whole pyramid on top of everybody inside of it. And then there was that badass action scene, which we'll get to because that was awesome. But the fact that the pyramid, would they really design a pyramid to have these perfectly aligned chutes where these guys can knock these giant rocks down them that are going to slide under there and take out all the pillars to make it fall in on itself? I mean, did they really design like self-destruct systems into those things?
Sort of. There were supposed to be supposedly lots of booby traps and stuff to prevent grave robbers and stuff.
Right, okay. I guess, yeah.
Actual Egyptian history you didn't have pyramids that were used for what they were using it for.
Right. Well, obviously.
I mean, they were burials. They would have actually had a way of basically collapsing and closing things up if they needed. They wouldn't necessarily self-destruct the entire pyramid, though.
But that's what I'm saying. That was designed to self-destruct that entire pyramid.
Yeah.
There's no other purpose for that. And that just seemed a little odd to me.
May have been part of a grand conspiracy.
But that opening action scene was really cool, of his original 4 horsemen trying to protect him as all this shit is collapsing on him while he's trying to transfer into his new body. So, you know, he apparently, you know, the body of Poe Dameron, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The dream stuff at the end was really great. Seeing Charles go into Apocalypse's head is like when he realizes, like, oh, thanks for inviting me in. And then getting to see giant Apocalypse, that was really, really cool.
This is like, oh, this wasn't such a good idea.
Yeah, and then he invites Jean in, because I'm like, oh my god, Jean's gonna get in there. Jean's gonna get in. Oh, she did! Fuck yeah! Psylocke was actually great. Olivia Munn was really good as Psylocke. She wasn't given a whole lot to do outside of action, but what delivery and acting she had to do, I totally bought it.
And she pulled off the costume. Yeah,
which is weird, because that is probably the most comic accurate costume, like, ever. And it's a completely ridiculous costume, but it totally worked, and it felt real. The new Storm is great. I'm not a big Halle Berry fan. There's something about her that just puts me to sleep. So it's not hard. It's not a hard bar to get above for me with any of her roles or performances. But this is my Storm. I like this. I really like this lady as Storm. She was really, really good. All the casting was really, really good, except Angel. So I'm kind of glad that he was the one that died, because I'm like, meh. There's nothing about him that was really memorable, other than he was just kind of a whiny asshole.
Well, again, how much of that is the actor and how much that was the part?
Right, I know. Some of it is they just didn't really give him anything to do. Weapon fucking X. Now, in the trailers, all they showed you was, you know, schnick, the claws coming out and, you know, Scott saying we had some help. So you kind of knew this was going to happen. But what made me really excited that I didn't know they would do is they actually had, like, the fucking, like, mind control headgear stuff and all the tubes plugged into him and everything. And it looked awesome. And he looked unkempt, you know, like his hair was all, like, long and just unfurled. And he was like, it was like the Berserker rage we haven't actually gotten to really see in any of the movies.
Yeah, so much for the mind control.
Yeah, because I mean, whatever it is, I don't remember what it was. I guess that's supposed to program him or something. But still, just that whole rig that's iconic from the designs. I remember the comic covers of that story was really cool, and him slaughtering everybody in that base. And then Jean, he met Jean, and she's the one that, like, kind of gave him back a couple of his memories and took it off him, and it was so fucking sweet, dude. It's such, like, just a little sweet moment.
Yeah.
So, and then there was a good joke when Scott Summers was like, well, I hope that's the last we ever see of that guy. After he takes off running, and we're all like, oh, ha, ha. But I guess in the same way, it's kind of an eye roll joke, like, oh god, really? But it works, so I can't complain. Stryker, I love that though. When he's leaving, he's just like, I'll be back in a minute. He's just like, you know, he's fucking bailing.
So, end credit scene is back at this secret military base, and you see people cleaning up. And some guys in suits walk in, go into where Weapon X was being stored, and they open up the cabinet, and there's like all these x-rays from Loki, so you can see like all the metal in the skeleton now and everything. And there's a bunch of vials, and they pick up it's like Weapon X DNA, puts it in a suitcase with a bunch of other vials, and walks off with Essex Corp, which we need to look up. Yeah,
we're going to look it up. You can tell me in the comments, but I'll probably have figured it out by then. I was geeking out because I'd heard Screen Junkies talking about who should be the female Wolverine X-23, which I do know. So I was looking for an X-23 thing. So I'm banking on the Essex thing being involved in the creation of X-23. And maybe that's what they were supposed to be hinting at. And that's going to be a big part of the story for the 90s film.
That may have been a better place to put the Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah,
unless, I think he's done the janitor thing before.
I feel like he has done the janitor thing before, but I mean, still, he could have still been a janitor.
Yeah.
But yeah, where they put it is weird. If you've seen the trailers, there's these shots of all the nuclear missiles being launched everywhere, and it's really frightening. And like, you're in this moment of like, oh my god, like you're really deep in it and invested in this heavily dramatic moment. And it's showing all these people on the streets just standing and holding their loved ones, looking up in the sky in terror. And that's where Stan Lee shows up, like holding his woman. And you know, I mean, normally the Stan Lee, we've gotten so used to the Stan Lee cameos being funny that we're kind of preconditioned to laugh, and that's not a laughing moment that was in. So that's why I think it's kind of the worst Stan Lee cameo. It's just a really bad place for it. you know, I mean, we always love seeing Stan Lee, but I just think it was wrong and an inappropriate place to put it.
Oh, wait a minute. The trip to the mall, they saw Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Return of the Jedi. Yeah, they're joking about the third movie is always the worst.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are they referring to X3? Or are they referring to this being a third of the trilogy? Or are they referring to both? It was just really clever.
Yeah.
And especially after, with a Star Wars reference in another Marvel film, I thought this was pretty. You know the one I'm talking about. I thought this was pretty cool that they made a Return of the Jedi reference in this one, so that was really nice. But Jubilee looked really good, and she was very well performed. But I think the bummer was...
We didn't get to see her power.
Yeah, she never used her power, so we're kind of curious how that would look in a film, and that was one of the expectations we didn't get fulfilled, but... You know, I mean, you can only do so much even when the movie's 2.5 hours long, but she did look really cool. And it was cute seeing them come back in like this 50s car or whatever it was. It's just like with the top down, and they'd all been to the mall and they're like, oh, we went to the mall. Like that felt like the 90s cartoon, honestly, but in the best of possible ways. And as they come back, the time slows down and stops, and that's why they're freeze framed like in the car. Because Quicksilver shows up because he wants to go see if he can find Magneto. So he comes to Xavier's school. Just as the shit hits the fan because Havoc had to destroy all the shit, and he ends up trying to shoot Apocalypse because they just took Charles, and they zoop out and it misses and it blows up Hank's warplane and blows up the fucking school. And Quicksilver saves everyone.
Except for Havoc.
Right, except for Havoc. Including the pizza dog.
Yeah.
Which was fucking adorable, especially when he's holding it up to the camera in the slow motion. He's throwing kids out windows into pools and all that shit. That was awesome. I don't know that it was as organic as the Days of Future Past scene. Like that had, I mean, this had a reason, but it wasn't as important a reason. I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to process my thoughts about it. I might like it more. I might not. I can't really tell. There's something that bothers me about it.
I think they actually showed it. And this isn't just me reading into it, but it started out with him having fun like he normally does because he's like, whatever. It's just like, but as it progresses, he's getting like the margin by which he's saving people becomes less and less and less. And I think towards the end he's kind of going, oh, I kind of need a whole ass now.
Yeah, I could see that. I could absolutely see that because there was some really funny stuff early. Like there's a kid combing his hair and he's like tosses the comb and like starts messing with his hair and stuff like that. He saves this one girl's goldfish, you know, to take with her and all that. And then you're right, by the end, that's when he's like wrapping them in mattresses and throwing them out towards pools and all this and surfing on furniture out over the explosion. But it was really cool, especially in 3D, the effects and everything.
And also, he must be insanely strong.
Yeah, well, maybe it's something with when he's moving faster, you know, some comic booky, superhero-y logic, kind of timey-wimey equivalent. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the timey-wimey equivalent of superhero powers, you know? It's like, yeah, we'll just say it's part of his powers. And one other thing I'll say about Quicksilver was it was cool though because in the final fight he got his licks in on Apocalypse.
Oh god,
he was beating the shit out of Apocalypse for a minute there, and it was awesome.
Because you actually think it's like, he's got this, and then he's like, oh, there go the eyes. No, we don't.
Yeah, I know. I thought he was going to take him for a minute, but then I thought that was a beautiful team effort, like as it should be in an X-Men movie. It really was the X-Men working together, and you know, no one person. Because there was even a moment in that fight when Psylocke is like, split them up, and I'm like, as a villain, that's perfect because that's how you beat the X-Men, is you get them to go off in individual directions because no one mutant can beat all the others, you know. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, so what do you guys think? I'm anxious to geek out about this with you guys. So obviously in this comments, spoiler away, because if you're here for this video and you open the comments and you're getting spoiled, either you want to be spoiled or something's gone horribly wrong, and I'm sorry. But let's geek out about it. Favorite part, favorite character, what did you like, what did you not like, were you pleasantly surprised? Do you agree with what we were saying, or do you have some differing opinions? That's fine too. Want to educate us on things we got wrong? That's cool too. Just be cool and we'll love it, and we'll get back to you and have a good time doing it. Thumbs up if you enjoy this, thumbs up if you like that I'm not shaking the hell out of the camera anymore on these things, and I'll keep trying to improve these reviews and make them more interesting for you guys. And subscribe if you're new so you can see all the cool stuff we do here, because we geek out all the time. We got lots of cool geek stuff happening every single day, and you know, share with your friends so they can come geek out with us too, right? Yeah, all right. So guys, I think we're gonna jump on out of here, and we're gonna get in the mindset for Alice in Wonderland, or Alice Through the Looking Glass, which will be tomorrow, and then after that we're gonna start up some Ninja Turtle week, so yay. I hope you're ready for that. I am. And I'm gonna get out here, and I guess we will see you guys later.